going to be showing you guys how I like to prep when it comes to any enhancement that I'm doing, whether it's gel, builder gel, acrylic, polygel, whatever it may be. This is how I like to go in and prep my nails. I am a beginner. Obviously, I don't know like a lot. I don't know everything. These are just some tips and tricks that have helped me while learning, and I want to share them with you guys. So today we have my lovely grandmother. So we are actually going to be doing one hand with hand file and the other hand with an e-file. So if you're interested in seeing how to do one specific way, I'll have the timestamps down below. First, I had her wash her hands because that's very important. You don't want them to have any dirt or oils on their fingers. The first thing that we are going to go in and do is I'm going to go in and just kind of shape up the nails. If she was a client, I would ask her, what shape do you want your nails? But I know she likes hers like a rounded oval. So as you can see with this nail, it's super short. So I'm just going to file that up so it's a nice clean shape. So when I put a tip on it, you won't be able to see that free edge under the tip. So when you guys are filing natural nails, you never want to saw and go back and forth. So as you can see, I go from one corner, meet in the middle, and then I go from the other corner and meet in the middle. Sawing can cause tears in the nail. It can also be the cause of a lot of breakage. It does feel a lot more natural to just go in and saw. It's definitely a habit that I had to learn to break when I started school, but that is the right way to do it. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to push back the cuticles. So we have a few options for what we can use to do that. The first option that we have is a metal cuticle pusher. As you can see, there's a larger side for the fingers like the thumb as well as the toes. And then we have a shorter side for pinky finger and then your smaller toes. So this is actually what I'm going to go in with today. I also have a plastic cuticle pusher, which as you can see, this side is angled, and that's going to be what you use to go in and push the cuticle. And then on this side, it's smaller and skinny, so you can go in and clean under that free edge. And then the same with the wooden pusher. This is called a orange wood stick or a cuticle pusher. And as you can see, it has that angled side right there, and then the pointy edge right there. So we are going to go in and use this, and we are going to clean under that free edge, which is really important before you really get in and start doing anything. You don't want there to be any dirt that can possibly contaminate your prep. And you don't want to push too hard when you're doing this because you can hurt your hyponychium. Some people, they have hyponychiums that are really, really close to their free edge. And if you go in there and dig in too much, then that'll hurt. We're going to go ahead and we are going to push back our cuticles. So you don't want to push too much. The same thing as with the hyponychium. If you push too much, you can cause pain to the eponychium, as well as you can cause damage to the cuticle and to their matrix. As you can see, her cuticles are very well maintained. They don't go onto her nail plate. And so this is actually a very good situation to have. Prepping is very fast when you have people who have cuticles like this, but there are some people who do have cuticles that are thick and sticky and that grow onto the nail plate really long. And so I am going to be doing a video next on cuticle prep on somebody who has really thick and sticky cuticle, because there's not a lot that you have to do. For the next thing that we are going to do, we are going to be using an e-file, and I'm going to show you guys how to clean up the cuticles with your e-file. I do like to go in with my cuticle bits and just kind of clean up just in case there's some skin on the plate that I'm not seeing. So here are your options for your different cuticle bits, and I will have these all linked down below. There's tons and tons and tons of different ones, all different sizes. This one is a ceramic one. This one is like a football shaped one. I don't know the correct name. This one I actually got in my nail kit from school. And then here is a ball bit. So I'm going to go in with these two bits. So the first one that I like to go in is with this, the diamond bent one. I have a whole section in my what I got in my nail kit video dedicated to my drill and the bits that I've gotten in my nail kit. So if you're interested in seeing my drill and learning more about that, then go check out that video. My e-file is the Medicool Pro Power 3500. I always like to show my clients that it's not going to hurt them when I go in with cuticle bits. So I just rub it across their finger. I rub it across mine usually first just to show them, and then I'll go in and rub it across their finger. So I like to go in a counterclockwise motion, picking up my file every little bit that I go, just to make sure that you're not producing heat. I don't know if you can produce, I'm sure you could if you leave it on there for too long, but it's just a good practice to get into when you're using your e-file to pick it up so that you don't produce any heat. Another important tip is that if you are going to use your e-file for your cuticle or just in general, you want to move the client's finger rather than moving your e-file up and down. So I like to kind of angle my client's finger. Sometimes you do kind of have to do a certain angle with your e-file. You just want to be really careful that you're not causing indentations in the nail. It can cause rings of fire and a lot of discomfort for your client. So you need to be really careful. For the most part, you want to keep your e-file parallel to your table. One of the things that helped me to get comfortable with using my e-file was definitely using it on my own hand. I do not use my e-file when I do my own sets, and that is just because I'm not very good at using it on my non-dominant hand. That's something that I need to work on. I would recommend though using it on your dominant hand just so you can figure out the amount of pressure you need. You can figure out how each bit feels and how fast they heat up. All of those things are really good for you to know so that you can make sure that you're not damaging your client's nails or causing them any pain. So now we're going to switch it. We're going to go in with our diamond bit. You want to make sure you lock that. And then you have your pivot finger, which is your pinky here. And so as you can see, I use my own fingers. You can also use your client's fingers. You just kind of have to find out what makes you the most comfortable. Now cuticle bits, if you touch your client's skin, it won't hurt them. But you want to just get in the practice of trying not to touch your client's skin. So what I like to do to make sure that I'm not doing that is I like to pinch their skin. So as you can see, there's her hand just free for all. And then when I go and pinch, it just gets all the side walls away and really just helps me to ensure that I'm not going in and touching her skin. We are all done with our cuticle prep. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to buff up her natural nail plate so that we can make sure that the product that we're going to be putting on top adheres. So to do that, I like to use my mandrel bit, and this is the bit that you use for your sanding band. You have different options when it comes to your sanding bands. We have a fine grit, we have medium grit here, if I can get it, medium grit, and then we have our coarse and our extra coarse. So on natural nails, you wouldn't want to go in with your coarse or your extra coarse. So I like to go in with a medium one. This is brand new. So I like to make sure that my bit is in there, and then I take my sanding band and I just press it down. There's a little bit of room in between the end of the mandrel bit and the sanding band, and I just like that for some reason. Now an important thing that you need to do is you need to season your arbor bands or your sanding bands. So what I like to use is my season file. This is my file that I use specifically for seasoning all of my files and my arbor bands. And I like to turn on my drill bit. And we're just gonna go in and we're gonna take the very end of that and just place it down and rub it on there for a few seconds. And then I'm gonna take the body of the bit just for a few seconds and then the very end, just to make sure that I'm not going to cut my client the same way that you would want to do that with a hand file. So now we're going to go in and we're going to rough up her natural nail. You want to do this at a slow speed. Again, you want to pinch that finger so that you're making sure those side walls are all good, and going again a counterclockwise motion around the nail, making sure that you're picking it up, because the arbor bands will definitely cause more heat than your cuticle bits do. You also want to make sure that you're letting your clients know that if they are feeling any discomfort or any heat or anything, that they let you know. I know some clients have no problem doing that, but some clients can feel reluctant to tell you that you're hurting them. So you just want to make sure that you have that they know that it's okay to let you know. Alrighty, so we are all done with this hand. The last thing that I would do would be going in with my nail brush and just wiping off that dust. So now we're going to go in with the hand file, and I'm going to show you the process with a hand file though, without any of my e-file bits. First thing that I would do is I would go in and shape up the nails like we did. Yes, Sky, thank you. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in with our cuticle pusher and we're going to push back our cuticles. If the cuticles if they're really thick and hard to remove, then I would add some cuticle remover on there, but because her cuticles are okay, then we're not going to do that. The nice thing about your cuticle bits is the fact that you can go in and make sure that there's no skin left on the nail plate. But when you're using a hand file, really the only options you have for your cuticles is pushing them back and then using a nipper to cut them. As you guys can see, that's not needed today because there's nothing to nip. So we're just going to go ahead and push back. The next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be going in with our files and we are going to be roughing up the nail surface. Again, you would want to season your file. Here's my seasoned file, here's my new file, which I've actually already seasoned. So you're going to go in and just get all those edges. So for the first few fingers, we're going to use our file. I'm also going to be showing you how to do this with a buffer. So the same as with our file, you want to go in and rough up those edges, season those edges so that you're not cutting your clients. We're just going to go in and we're going to file. If you guys are curious of any of the products that I'm using in this video, make sure that you check down below and I will have everything linked down below. So we are all filed and buffed and cuticles are all good looking. We're going to go in again and we are going to wipe off that dust. What we're going to do, some people like to do this after this step. I like to do it during this step. The first thing that I do is I like to remove the paper towel that I was just filing over to get all of that dust off. The next thing that we are going to do is you want to dehydrate your nails. So here's two things that you can use. This is just pure acetone, which you can use. But if you've cut your client, then I wouldn't do that because then that can burn them. You know, it's gonna burn when the acetone touches that cut. Even though I didn't cut her today, I like to go in. This is the Scrub Fresh. But we're just gonna go in and we're going to wipe those nails. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to apply tips onto her nail, or form if you want to do this, whichever you choose to do. So the tips that I'm going to be using are the BT Art Box False Nails, and you want to make sure that your tips are fitting sidewall to sidewall. So that was a number 5, which did not fit, so we're going to go to a 4. So our 3 fits perfectly. I know some people like to go in with their e-file and rough up the back, but I don't do that personally. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to be taking my nail glue. This is just the Beauty Secrets nail glue. So I like to go in with the nail tip, just a little tiny bit of glue. And we're going to go in. I like to angle it down. And you just want to make sure that you're placing it straight on there. And you want to hold it for about 10 seconds or so. And again, you want to make sure that it fits sidewall to sidewall. If you can't find one that fits exactly right, you want to go with the one that's a little bit bigger and then file down the edges. Because if you put one that's too small on there, it's just going to flop, or not flop, but you know, snap right off. So now that we have our nail tips on, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to blend the tips. So I'm going to show you how to do that with your e-file, and then I'm also going to show you how to do that with your hand file. You want to be careful with this. You just want to blend it into your nail plate. You do not want to take any layers off or dig too deep or anything like that that can cause discomfort, and make sure you're picking it up so that you're not causing heat. Now what we're going to do is we're going to blend the tips in with our hand file. So we're going to be pinching and just going in and blending right where that nail meets the nail plate. You also want to make sure that I've actually burned myself with a hand file before doing this part where I'm just going back, forth, back, forth. You want to make sure that you're picking up your hand file too, because you can burn your client just like you can with an e-file with a hand file. So now that our tips are all blended, we're going to go in with our tip cutter and we're going to go and cut these nails down and shape them to how she likes. Now I'm just going to dust off her hands really fast. Alrighty, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go back in with my scrub fresh and we're just going to dehydrate the nails again. For the last step, we are going to apply our primer. Alrighty guys, so that is the very end. That is how I prep for any of my enhancements that I'm going to be doing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure that you check out my last videos as well as stay tuned for my future videos. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.